Good morning. My name is Rita, and I am we are talking actually from SunGates Center radio studio in Wheeling, Illinois. And on the other side from San Diego, with me, my beautiful co-host Svetlana Burak, who is, hello, Svetlana.
Good morning, Rita. Good morning, everyone.
And Svetlana is integrative nutrition health coach and certified thyroid health coach. She works with people with thyroid disorder who would like to attract their ideal weight, more energy, and more joy in their life. And it's exciting.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm excited to be here and talking to my wise and beautiful co-host, Rita. She's also a certified holistic health coach and graduate of Institute of Integrative Nutrition, a member of American Association of Drugless Practitioners, certified Reiki practitioner, co-founder of SunGates Wellness Center in Wheeling, Illinois, and a guide to Spiritual Hospital of John of God in Abadiânia, Brazil.
Great. Thank you very much, Svetlana. Just want to remind our listeners that they can ask us any questions during the show by texting the number 847-345-0988 through Facebook or any other resources on YouTube where you can find our resources now. You can even listen to us on iCloud, right, Svetlana? Through
yes,
the recordings.
we're setting up iTunes podcast, so that's still in the process. We haven't exactly received a confirmation, but it's coming up.
Yes, great. And today we starting because that's a huge topic, and we think it'll take more than just one program, but it's exciting topic for us. We're talking about healthy eating, and today we're gonna talk about 5 tips to get you going on a healthy eating.
Yes.
And just diving into it, we start with eating food that are closest to natural state and why and what the best way to get into it, and Svetlana is going to start on it.
Yes, well, I want to give credit to my friend who actually in part is responsible for inspiring this topic. He posted a question on Facebook. Bert, thank you, by the way. He asked, how do I go about kickstarting a routine that includes healthy, but not only healthy, but also sustainable foods that is respectful of ourselves and our environment and our land. So that's pretty huge
That's
question.
huge, yes.
Yes, powerful question. And we're going to start slowly because we don't want you to get overwhelmed. We'll give you 5 tips today. And if you feel like it, write it down and implement maybe 1 or 2 a week.
Exactly.
So that it's not too overwhelming. And then once you get that down, you can add 1 or 2 next week and so on and so forth. Right? Okay.
Yeah,
so
it's a slow process. Yes. Just enjoy the process of eating. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, like as Rita mentioned, one of the most powerful tips is looking for foods that are closest to their most natural state. What are those foods? And I know that, for myself, when I just started, that was pretty overwhelming. How do I figure that out? Going to a store is like, whoa, where do I start? Even going to a health food store, it's overwhelming. Not everything is healthy in a health food store either.
Mm-hmm.
So here's things to look for. This is one of my most favorite tips that I've learned when I just started, is looking for something that when you think about our ancestors, they have been able to either hunt, gather, or pick. So think about things that are just hunted, gathered, or picked. For example, buffalo, right? Meat. We're talking about meat here. Or, chicken, something that's been hunted, right? Or something has been gathered, would be berries or
Yeah,
nuts.
that's what come to mind when I remember my childhood right away. We go to forest and pick up berries, and they're amazingly good.
Yes,
Like,
or harvest, harvested like, things like corn, right? And if you think about buying something in a package, like for example, cereal, right? Well, were they able to hunt or gather or pick cereal? No. Cereal is like a very long, far away, in a very long, far away state from the natural that, has been hunted, gathered, or picked. Um, so another tip is to think about when you buy food is look for something that's not packaged. So not in a box or not in a can. For example, there's soups, right? There's lots of soups that are actually dry, like in the box or even in a can. Well, they're not necessarily the best thing out there for you. There are exceptions, however, and we will get into more detail on how to find those exceptions. Well, I'll give you one exception now. For example, sardines, right? Wild sardines. Those are great. If you look for them in a can with olive oil, for example, that's a great way um, to nourish yourself. Another tip is think about when you look for food, think about whether this food you're about to buy needs advertisement. Is it being advertised? And this is one of my favorite tips from Michael Pollan. He's one of great authors who's really powerful advocate and educator on clean eating, healthy eating. So, does it need advertisement? Do you usually see advertisement for broccoli? I don't.
No,
Right?
it
Or
would be
like
fun.
almonds or things like you know um,
Well,
grass-fed beef or something like that. Usually, you don't see that on TV.
yeah, we usually see advertisement for boxes or
Yeah.
juices or some bottles or something packed, not the natural food.
Right, yes. So those are three tips that will bring you closer to the original state, the natural state of food. What else, Rita? Do you have any thoughts?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And my favorite is to go by eating seasonally. And it all comes from Ayurveda, which I love because since I traveled to India and got familiar myself with Ayurveda and knowing more, why eating seasonally? Because when we do, we adjust ourselves to natural cycle, to the nature itself. And there is also a huge topic about doshas, a constitution, which probably we're not gonna get into now. But just to mention that, for example, summer is a season of pitta, which are characteristics. Some characteristics of pitta is hot, uh, dry, and we need to eat food that are sweet, bitter, and estrogen, and cool, especially cool during the summertime to cool ourselves down. And of course, oily because it's dry. Well, again, here in Chicago, it's very humid. It's a different story. And again, it's where you live. We adjust on where we live. Not everyone is different, and we trying to eat based on our constitution. But for the season right now, it's good to adjust ourselves to the summer, and summer is going to the end, and our body is actually very heats up. Again, according to Ayurveda. And scientists call this thermal accumulation, which is tendency for the earth and the people to heat up during the especially second half of the summer. And as a result, mid-August, we begin to feel this accumulation of inner heat, especially when we live in this central part, or even in California, anywhere in United States. And we can notice that our skin is stretching and dry out. And some people experience sinuses, or digestive system may slow down. So we really should watch what we're eating. And so again, during the summer, we eat more cold food, like, for example, cucumbers, or what else?
Watermelon.
Coconut. Yeah,
I love watermelon.
right, exactly. Coconut is cooling food. Yeah,
That's a great reminder. Thank you.
right. And there's three food that we need to concentrate on right now. And they are summer superfoods. And one of those, exactly, Svetlana, is watermelon.
Oh,
Yeah, it has 92% of water, and it's extremely cooling by nature, and especially when we eat this cold. There's lots of vitamins and minerals, and but again, when we eat watermelon, I would eat it separately, not with the food, before dinner. I mean, before food, before meal, or and not after, or as a separate meal. It's good to have cleansing just by watermelon, right?
incredible. How
Right.
powerful is that fruit?
Another one is apples. And apples also have like heat removing properties. And apple can balance our blood sugar, and lower bad cholesterol and other stuff. And the third one that we can do is pomegranates. Can you?
Oh,
Yes,
oh, good stuff.
yes.
Mm.
And those foods been used in Ayurveda as anti-pitta and anti-heating agent for the blood, and especially for lymph, which is another huge topic. I am actually on it right now. The lymphatic system is so important. So those are the tips for the end of the summer and beginning of the fall.
Wow, just think about how wise our Mother Nature is to have these foods on hand just when we need them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Right. Our nature is just around us. If we just pay a little bit of attention to what around us, and tuning in into our inner cycle, we'll know what to eat and what not to eat.
so you think we might even have a craving for those foods, right?
Yes, I do. Once I started it, and once I tune in, I know what I need in any season, to add more oily stuff, or to go into raw in the summertime and cooling, and add more eh, meat or oils to protect from the winter cold in getting into the winter.
Tuning in, it's so huge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's probably another big topic we could have, but I just want to mention that when we start paying attention, and when we start eating balanced foods and start paying attention to our body, it will tell us exactly what we need. Like, what am I craving right now? You know, what am I really wanting? And it's hard to answer that question when we're eating junk food because we're craving things we don't need, really. But once we're starting to eat balanced, then our body's voice is really like really, really loud.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you again for that tip.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. So we're going into the healthy portions, or
Yes.
we
Well,
can
let's talk
talk about
about,
ingredients.
yeah,
Let's
let's
talk
go
about
ahead.
ingredients.
Yes.
That's a
So
good
if
tip.
you end up buying something that actually has a list of ingredients, not all products do. Like, for example, if you have a grapes, right? You don't need to read ingredients, you know exactly what's in there. But many times we will end up buying something that has a list of ingredients. Very simple tip. If you can't pronounce it, then don't buy it. If you don't know what it is, don't buy it. If you cannot pronounce, your liver probably cannot process it
Right.
either. So that's that.
Yeah, that's a great tip. And yeah, exactly as you said, the less ingredients it'll show up. Either sometimes we buy in some packaged stuff, but I was visiting Costco last yesterday, and I kind of started to go more and look and read the packages, and I realized that more and more packaged stuff like crackers or I even found the sweet potato crackers which have just a few ingredients, and there is not that much sugar. I guess our industries around us started to develop more healthy stuff, but again, it's not always true. They trying to put those labels, but not exactly the thing that they pack are very healthy for us. Exactly. We should look for how much sugar those packages will have. And of course, there is always an option to make it at home, which is very easy. We just need a little bit of a time and find out what ingredients we need to, like, for example, sweet potato chips or kale chips are so easy to make at home.
Oh, and they're so delicious.
Yeah, yeah, and your family will be proud of you that you can make it yourself and you don't really have to buy it.
And they're a hit at a party.
Oh
They're a
yes.
hit.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Whenever I bring kale chips here to the office when we have an event, that's huge. That's a
Yeah.
winner.
Yeah. Is there a number of ingredients that's too many, Rita?
Well, I would say even if it's more than three or four, it's already too many.
Yeah, right.
Right. So we will go for less. Or none.
Right.
Whole
Or one.
foods. Or none.
Great. So how much do we eat, right? How much is the right amount? How much protein? How much this? How much that? How many, grams of this and that, right? Carbohydrates, fats. Okay, there's different answers out there for this question. I'll tell you my approach, and my approach might not be the best for you or might resonate with you. So my approach is intuitive eating. What that means is when we start giving our bodies the foods that nourish us, we don't need to count, we don't need to measure, because our body will automatically tell us when we're done, when we're full, and it will tell us if we need more. And this is what I've been following ever since I started eating clean or healthy. I don't measure anymore. As long as I know that I want to combine some protein and some vegetables in one meal and maybe some grain, as long as I know that I want those proportions, those macronutrients included, I don't really necessarily need to know when I stop, because meaning I don't need to measure, because I can just listen to my body. Now, I do always want to include at least half of my plate of vegetables. So that's one thing I'll tell you. Vegetables, and that does not count, does not include white potato or corn.
Mhm.
So that's how I have been successful in maintaining my healthy weight. And I think that's the number one of the biggest concerns out there when it comes to
Yes,
that
exactly.
question.
Yeah, and I also think that when we eat slow and we really chew and understand how we eat, when we eating just eating and pay attention, not eating with the phone or with TV or with some other devices, then we really paying attention to what we eat, and we need less food because we know, and when we digest slow, that's the sign that.
Yes.
And another tip is to stop eating when you're not feeling that you're full, but just before that. Because in 20 minutes, that's when we feel that we are full, and when we don't have energy after meal, it says to me that it was too much. I
Yeah.
overate, and it always
Yeah.
possible, but just paying
That's
attention.
yeah. I would say maybe like 80% full and then stop, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
20 minutes you're gonna feel 100% full because your body's catching up with its signals
Exactly.
to your brain, letting the brain know that it's done.
Mm-hmm. So there is one product or one ingredient which is very addictive. Do you wanna tell us which one and
Well,
why?
I think you guys can guess probably.
Yeah, everybody can guess.
Yes. It's addictive and it's evil and it causes lots of medical issues. And not only that, it just makes us feel like we don't have energy, makes us feel like we're dragging and we're bloated.
But when we want it, and when we have a bite of the sweet food, we feel energized at the beginning.
Yes, it gives us a boost, and then that's followed by a crash because it influences our blood sugar levels. That's what happens, raises blood sugar, and then it crashes. So, this is very tricky because sugar can hide in so many places, and it actually goes under like there's about 65 different names of sugar out there now, which isn't just sugar. It could be corn syrup, it could be molasses, it could be high fructose corn syrup, lactose, maltose, malt, maple syrup. I mean, even cane juice or evaporated or even like fruit juice, that's sugar. So these are just some names of sugar, and there's a lot more. So one thing is to educate yourself what names the sugar can go by and look for that on the packages. It's kind of crazy. I mean, they hide sugar everywhere in bread, in soups, in like tomato sauce. There's tons of sugar in yogurt. You know, you think yogurt is healthy, but unless you really read the package, you're gonna have a surprise. You know, lots of sugar hidden in yogurt, especially flavored yogurt. So, and the other very tricky thing that manufacturers can do, they can include sugar, 3 different or 4 different types of sugars in the same product. So you might read, you know, ingredients, and you might see, oh, there is molasses, but maybe that's not it. You keep on reading and there is more. Oh, there's cane sugar. And you keep on reading, oh, there is malt. So they might divide it up in 3 different types. And unless you're really looking for it, you might think there's just a little bit of sugar. But in reality, there's a whole bunch.
Exactly, exactly. But there is an easy way to substitute with natural food that has sugar, so we can actually help to satisfy our sweet tooth. And I'm talking about sweet roots, which is like beets. Amazing, right? You love
Beets, you
beets,
mean?
beets, right?
Yeah,
uh,
I love
like
beets, of course.
sweet potatoes. What else? There are lots of different ones that can help to satisfy. And again, fruits are good, but fruits are packed with fructose, which is also sugar, but if we look at the glycemic index, and there is easy way to find it, to download it, we can find fruits that are so much better on they have less smaller glycemic index, and we can use those more basic more often than others.
Yes, like berries are really low in glycemic index. They're great. Really.
Yeah, berry is the best one, right? Exactly. Cherries. I'm talking about sour cherries, which is,
Yes.
and they're great, like beets and cherries. Everything that is in red color or blue color, they're packed with antioxidants, which is good for us, and they're moving lymphatic system. They're amazing fruits for us to have.
Wonderful. So red or blue is really powerful. Great.
Well, even though we need to eat colors, we go by colors. And I love salad, which has all the colors, because every color has specifics that we need, nutrients that we really need. Orange
Yeah.
pepper, orange tomatoes.
So you put a rainbow in your salad, right? It's such a fun thing to do, especially when you have kids.
Right, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So
And
Mhm.
yeah,
Look for foods low in glycemic index, and what that means is the lower glycemic index, the the lower the blood sugar reaction or rise after you eat that particular food. Now here's very interesting thing that I was shocked when I learned about whole wheat. Everybody thinks whole wheat is wonderful, right? Let's have some whole wheat bagel. Let's have some whole wheat bread. What's interesting is that whole wheat has higher glycemic index than sugar. It's processed flour, and when you put a processed flour into your body, it raises blood sugar levels. So whether eating white wheat or whole wheat, it could have pretty negative effects on our bodies. So pay attention to that.
yeah, but the good thing would be to I am listening to my favorite doctor, John Duriarit, and he just introduced the new book. And I didn't download it yet. It's still not there. But what he does, he's looking into the root of the problem, why we cannot digest wheat. So, yeah, the backside of it,
Right.
he was going into the root of the problem. Well, when I download the book and I share it with you, so we can talk more about it. But that's an amazing thing.
That'll be a very interesting topic. Yeah,
Yes, yes,
absolutely. Can we really digest wheat, right?
right, and why we cannot.
Yes. And
The last one,
yes,
we're going into last tip.
yes. So let's talk about artificial stuff. Stuff that does not belong in our body at all. And most of the time, that's the stuff you cannot pronounce. When you're reading the label, you don't know what that means. So those could be artificial flavors, artificial colors, and preservatives. And they have been found to have some pretty devastating effects in our bodies, and especially for the little ones. Some artificial colors cause attention difficulties, and has been shown by studies, actually. So reading a label will give you the power to make a really good decision, one way or the other. What else?
Well, when we're talking artificial stuff, we're talking also about artificial sugars, which cannot, sometimes impossible to pronounce. Like, for example, some of them known, some unknown. aspartame one of those. And when we see diet product like Diet Coke, and people think that might be good or better, it doesn't have sugar. It has aspartame, which is worse than real sugar because it's a chemical. Another one is saccharin, and it's sold under brand name Sweet and Low. Sucralose, which is Splenda, and Neotame, which is NutraSweet company. All of those, which you cannot pronounce, you don't know, they are not good for you. But again, they're natural sugar substitute. And my favorite one, and I think it's has lowest glycemic index, is stevia. And I would recommend stevia, which is liquid and not powder, because again, powder is too processed, and it may cause different effects.
There are products out there that have stevia in their name, in their package. However, they can also be misleading. You have to read the ingredient list, because some of them have number one ingredient being Splenda or something else.
Exactly. They can package it together.
Yes, it's very misleading. One of my favorite stevias, by the way, actually is by Sunrider.
Exactly.
It's so good, and I've heard people complain about stevia because it might have a bitter taste. But Sunrider is amazing. It's like, wow.
Yes. It's called Sun Nectar or Sunny Dew, and if you really want to try it, you can call me. I always have it on hand. So we always order and have it in the office, so I can send it to you. So just contact me through Facebook, email, phone number 847-345. Well, you have it on the screen. And we'll help you with the information and the product itself.
Yeah, that's how I learned about it, through Rita. So.
Right. Honey is another one, but just to pay attention not to heat honey and not to put it into hot tea, because it loses its great properties. And actually, honey is not good when it heats heat up. So
I like maple syrup and coconut sugar. Again, all of those in moderation, please. Just because we say that they're healthier doesn't mean they're healthy in unlimited quantities. They're still sugars, and they can still raise your blood sugar levels. So be mindful. The main difference is that with coconut sugar, not coconut sugar, maple syrup and honey have a lot more nutrition with it, but they will still raise your blood sugar level. They say that coconut sugar doesn't raise blood sugar as much, and stevia, I think, is the low. It does not raise blood sugar at all, is my understanding.
Right. Stevia from Sunrider even balancing the sugar level, because it feeds the pancreas, and pancreas knows what to do and how to balance our body. Is very smart. When we eat our body with the right amount of food and the right food, it regenerates itself. That's the ancient knowledge of Chinese philosophy. So we have nothing to add to it. It's just our ancient knowledge, which is.
Wow.
All right, I think we went over 5 tips, which are very important, and maybe we can put notes on the Facebook, just to go to right. It'll be a great thing to do, to put notes on the Facebook on those 5 tips, so you remember.
Yeah, you can look for those on SunGates Radio, right, on Facebook.
Yeah, no, SunGates Center Facebook page, or our Svetlana or my page, or
Health Beat, My Health BEET on Facebook.
put recordings on YouTube and on SunGates Center Archives webpage.
Again, just remember not necessarily to incorporate everything at once because it can be overwhelming. Do 1 or 2 things per week and really listen to your body. Pay attention. It's very wise. It will tell you exactly what you need to know. It will tell you whether you're eating something that's nourishing or not. And you will know by your energy levels. You will know by how sharply you're thinking. You'll know if you're bloated or not. There's so many signs out there that it can share with us.
It might be hard at the beginning, but once you start on it, it's an amazing process, and your body will be thankful for it.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody who listened. Thank you, Svetlana. And you'll hear from us next Monday, same time, same place, 10 Pacific and 12 Central. Hear and be heard.
Thank you, Rita, and thank you, our listeners.
Bye-bye.
Take care.